Lots of people are labeled weird because they have different interests or dress a certain way or just have difficulty socializing in group settings. And that's okay. When you stop trying to fit in and embrace your weird self, you are going to set yourself up to be a much better writer. It comes down to three things: authenticity, connection, and resilience. If you're new here, my name is Aaron. I am a 3-time self-published author, and on this channel I talk about the writing process as well as document my journey towards becoming a traditionally published author. First up, authenticity. With the rising use of AI in creative spaces, things are starting to feel more and more the same. So when you lean into your weird self, you're setting yourself up to stand apart from the rest of the crowd immediately. You have a human element to your writing and everything you do, especially if you're weird. And I don't think that can be replicated by code. For example, a lot of the times when I get out of the shower, my wife is sitting on the couch. So as I walk by, I'll do some wacky dance thing or go off on a bit in a terribly done accent. And 9 times out of 10, she laughs at it, or if I'm lucky, rolls her eyes. And again, I just don't think that human aspect of it is something that AI is going to replicate. So if you are putting that human aspect into your own writing, then you're going to connect more with the readers, but connection comes later. Your creative endeavors are going to have a renewed sense of freedom because you don't have to worry about if it's acceptable or if it's normal or if it's something people usually do. You just do what your heart is telling you to create. Everything you write doesn't have to be a super serious treatise on the conditions of humanity. It can be fun and stupid and silly. An example in one of the projects I'm working on is in the magic system. You have, fire mage, water mage, life, death mage, all these control over different things. But the last 2 schools of magic are croissant and wrench. And I just love it so much. Something about that being the magic system just really tickles my brain, and it's silly and it's weird, but it's most importantly fun. And I think that's what I love about lit RPG as a genre in general, but that's a whole different video. I love it because it's just fun stuff. When you're enjoying the writing process, people who read your work are going to feel the joy just dripping out of the page that you put into your writing. This was something I got told from the writers group that I went to a while back, where everyone else in the group was 20, 30, 40 years older than me. So me coming in with a story about fairies and government conspiracies and everything all wrapped up in a dark bundle, it was a little different than what the other people in the group had, but something that I got told multiple times was they just loved reading it because they could just feel the joy emanating out of the page, because I really am having a fun time writing the story, and you should be too. So if you're not worried about being normal or what's going to sell, yes, to a point it has to be commercially viable, but just embrace, again, what the weird part of you thinks would be great. Next up is connection with other people. Obviously, you won't be everyone's cup of tea, and everyone isn't going to be yours. But when you do find people whose weirdness matches your weirdness, they'll be able to relate to your work on a much deeper level and much quicker. It's just like, it's a radar that goes off. Oh, there's one of us. There's another one. When you focus on being true to yourself and your weirdness, you won't have to worry about going out and feeling awkward at a party anymore, or sitting through a ball game just because you're trying to fit in and that's what people are doing. Just embrace yourself. And there's nothing wrong with either of those things by any means. Those are just 2 examples I had. Because you'll be perfectly happy sitting at home with a notebook, maybe a cup of tea, and doing some world building for hours, or researching something for your story and just getting lost in the immersive human process of writing. Writing a book obviously takes a lot of time, so the more time you can spend doing that, the better. You're going to be putting yourself ahead of any competition just because you have more time dedicated to it from not fighting your true self. And I find that more people are more weird than they like to present at all. And I think if everyone just embraced their weird, the world would probably be a little bit better place. For example, of building connections out of weird stuff. At my wedding, I was in charge of the rehearsal dinner, so we did a fully Hobbit-themed barbecue rehearsal dinner by this little lake. Everyone, costumes were required. And, people had all sorts of crazy stuff. It was very, very not normal. And aside from actually getting married, that part, it was probably my favorite part of the whole experience, was just having all my friends there, everyone getting dressed up and just embracing the weird. The energy was great. Everyone had an awesome time. Finally, resilience. Being weird can lead to ridicule, which sucks, but it can also make you resistant and more set up to deal with failure and rejection and adversity, which I'm told is super duper important if you plan on having a career as an author. For example, when I was in 8th or 9th grade, I was super obsessed with Castle Crashers and just would, played it a bunch. But anyway, I spent a bunch of time drawing out all these characters and new weapons and this and that and casting of the spells. And then I showed it to a friend and he was like, that's kind of weird. You're like obsessed with this. And this isn't a story about how I pushed through and persevered. Actually, this is me not then going out to draw really for quite a while after that. And he's not a bad person by any means. It was just something a friend said that hurt me and it made me dim my light for someone else. And I want to never do that again. And I hope you never feel like you have to do that. The more comfortable you are in yourself and your weirdness, the better equipped you will be to face with these people who have comments to say about you and your art and how you present your art to the world. Because it's going to happen. Criticism never really goes away on any level. Even in my very limited success as a self-published author, I've had to deal with haters and people saying my work is bad and whatever, and it always sucks in the moment, but the more you deal with it, the more you just learn to get past it quicker and quicker, and again, build that resilience. And if you are writing stuff that is super middle of the road, you're not gonna have people love it or hate it. So, and that's the worst place to be, is just okay writing. You don't want that. So embrace the weird, go all the way in this direction. The people who hate it are going to hate it and they're gonna let you know, but the people who love it are going to love it, and you're gonna again have that connection at a deeper level because you're weird and they're weird, and that's okay. The moment you let others tell you how to feel about yourself and the work you create is the moment you lose. I hope you get to experience criticism and comments about how your work is weird and someone didn't like it. Not because I want you to actually go through those things, but because it is going to make you a better writer in the long run. And every time you stand back up, you make yourself that much harder to push down. If someone doesn't like what you write, that's fine. They don't have to read it. Now, when you have a bunch of weird energy bubbling out of you, you should really put it into something, put it into writing. And if you want to plan a full year of writing in under 20 minutes, check out this video here.